Ohayo gozaimasu. My name is Taisei of Taisei Discovers, here in studio with my brother Kenji in production of Kenji Walks. Together, we are BrotherLee Time. Today's guest I've known for quite a while, and I've always admired him and his ability to convey what was in his heart through the painting medium. He creates canvases that are of the highest impact. He's done commission work for the PGA. He's done prints with Reyn Spooner. He's also worked with Merrie Monarch and the Eddy Aikau surf competition on the North Shore. He's done work for them as well. So chances are you have seen his artwork, and maybe you didn't know it was him. He goes by Eddy Y, an artistic prodigy, but his real name is actually Eddy Yamamoto. Today, we're going to learn a little bit more about who he is as a human and as an artist, and maybe a little bit more. Eddy Y, welcome to BrotherLee Time.
Thank you.
My man. How you feeling today?
Good.
Yeah?
Good. Nice to see you.
It's good to see you as well. I haven't seen you around the restaurant too much. You must have been busy, huh?
Every time I go, you're not there, though.
Oh, you must go Sundays.
Yeah.
Sundays, yeah. So Sundays I'm with the keiki. But it's great to have you here. You know, when we started this project almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago, I thought about, I always think, who do I want to interview? Who would be intriguing and important for the community of Hawaii and actually the globe to hear a little bit of background and really what moves you, right?
Yeah.
So you're on the list and you're finally here.
Oh.
First thing I want to talk about is who you are and where you're from. Where were you born?
Japan, Tokyo, Japan.
Okay. And when did you relocate to Hawaii?
1967.
Oh.
I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were here a long time before Kenji and I were even a thought. So let's talk about what you're known for first, the artwork. What is your medium of choice?
Well, actually, my majority of the work is clothing. I'm a clothing designer. Like, I used to live in California.
Okay.
And surfwear. Like, I ran the company Hobie Surfboard. It was a huge company. Like, we did like $60 million in 1986.
Okay.
And I was in charge of all the design, merchandising, for the whole company. And I even helped them start it up from the startup.
Okay, so it started with apparel and fashion.
What is that?
Apparel and fashion.
This is the first thing I ever did that was significant was 1976, I designed Kalakaua's album cover.
Wow.
The second album cover. I was still going to school, right? And I had opportunity. I was working with them, I go to bars every night. These guys are my good friends. So they say, oh, yeah, I want you to help us do this, right? And that kind of took off,
Yes.
And I got a lot of recognitions and stuff like that. Then I got hooked up with Tom Moffett, the promoter.
Yes.
And then they had this concert on the December 26, 1976, right after the album came out. So the Tom Moffett called me, hey, Eddy, we're going to have this biggest concert at Aloha Stadium, right? But we're going to have this stage that is just like in the middle of the football field. But we need to put something in the front. We're talking about all these ideas. It's, we don't want people to get too close to the stage. So I think about and I said, you know what? Hey, maybe what we can do is that we can make this mural, right? And then I researched how big the canvas is. Okay, we can make them like 8 feet high and 104 feet long, which is like a lot wider than the football field, right? And then make a scaffolding, and then you just stretch the canvas to the scaffolding, and then get those huge, the air, like the what do you call a compressor with an air gun, right?
Okay.
And it's like then I made this little scale model, and then blow it up by a grid, draw all the lines, and then I go out and I hire 3 graduate students from university art department. I taught them how to do it, and I just supervise, and they just look at my scale model and then copy it. And then, so that was one of the biggest things that I ever done.
I mean, that's still a huge project in modern times, and now we have digital printing capabilities.
Yeah, with everything by hand.
Wow. Well, there's something to be said about that. So even for like the Kalakaua cover, you weren't doing digital art. This
No.
is all sketching and actual.
I don't even know how to use computer still. Everything I do is all done by hand.
Wow. We talk about AI a lot now and how that's changing the landscape when it comes to art and digital artwork. But you're old school.
Yeah, that's all I know how to do.
You're the analog artist that is I don't know, I wouldn't say it's a dying breed, but I feel like it's becoming more of a commodity as people start using this more. And so much respect to you. So from doing that huge banner, what was next?
Well, but anyway, like I went to university how I study fine art, but my focus really wasn't learning at the school, right? But I wanted to do, get a job and do things for the public. So I started designing T-shirts and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and they had this contest to design the uniform for the military hotel, Kalakaua Hotel in Waikiki.
Yes.
So I just happened to come up with this design, and I won. And then they made the uniform. So I start getting, like a design Aloha shirts. This was like in the mid-70s. And then, so I start getting into that kind of business, right? And then I met somebody from Los Angeles that they want to start some girls' T-shirts company in California. So they asked me, see if I want to relocate, give me a job and everything, ship my car and everything. Then I moved to California in 1977.
Wow. So it seems like each job led to the next bigger job.
Yes.
And naturally now you can literally see your artwork on a Reyn Spooner shirt. This is what you're wearing right now is one of Eddy's designs. Which I also have one of those as well.
Yeah, that has my name on, says Eddy Y, right?
Eddy Y. That's kind of your art name, right?
Right. Because like it's shorter, right? So and then nobody knows what kind of person I am. Just Eddy Y. That sounds,
It sounds swaggy. I also I gotta say that every time I see you, you always look fresh, and you always got your nice. Your frames and whatnot, and everybody's like, man, that guy must be either a musician or an artist, and you're both. You also do music as well.
Yeah, I want to be musician.
This guy shreds. He shreds the old Beach Boy style, yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, no, that's just strictly hobby, though.
So I always wondered how difficult or challenging it is for an artist to make a living. Doing what you do.
Very difficult. So one of the example, my daughter, right? When she was little, I never taught her anything about art because I just don't want her to go through this whole art thing. Because you go to I hate to say, but a lot of the artists, they never make it, right? Then you go to university, you're learning art from academia, not from artists. So nobody will be able to get a job or anything. We just so I was more focused on, like doing actual thing. I even go out and paint signs on the windows or anything to make money, right? And so, that was like my focus, really, And so I really tell everybody that art is, if you really like art, you should consider, keep that as a hobby. And then, find something else to make a living. So my daughter became a CPA. She makes a lot better life than most artists, right?
And does she still do art on the side?
No.
She's focused on the numbers.
Not even.
Interesting. Well, the creative outlet is very important, especially for creators. There's certain people that innately just need to express themselves in that manner. You found a way to make a living out of it. And I think it's a testament to the quality of your art and how your art impacts the viewer to the point where the PGA, the Professional Golf Association, is commissioning you to do portraits of all the professional golfers. How many professional golfers have you done portraits
of? I don't know. I did that every year for 27 years. And this is the biggest game for the senior tour. So I did portrait of Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and every one of them actually has my originals.
Wow.
And, so I do a lot of portrait, like that's one of the things that I do also.
Yes, you do wonderful portraits that are lifelike, very realistic, realism. Let's talk about Reyn Spooner, which is one of the biggest brands when it comes to dress shirts here in Hawaii. How did you get that gig?
Okay, I was in the clothing business in Los Angeles, and I was kind of well known. My name is Eddy, because like Hobie did $60 million. It's everywhere. Right? Everybody was my T-shirts. So when I lived on the Big Island, one of my friends introduced me to the original owner, Tim McCullough. His father started Reyn Spooner like in 1956 or something. This guy was the greatest guy. So he called me and he said, "Hey, Eddy, like, I want you to do some design for us. And let's use your name." So it's Art of Eddy by Reyn Spooner. And he just let me do whatever I want because he understood where I'm coming from, you know. So what I did was he was like more like a traditional Hawaii high-end, very conservative Aloha shirts, right? But we start doing shirts with the guitars or shirt with the cars or, that's like those are one of the things that I do. It's like a licensing product. Like this is Bob Marley shirts I've designed recently. And I've also designed shirts for Elvis Presley, Beach Boys, and all this different licensing. And so
you bring a very fun aspect to the dress shirt, which for me, working in the restaurant, is a dress shirt fit. It's a Reyn Spooner quality, right? But then there's this whole fun, lighthearted aspect to it, especially when you have Bob Marley on your shirt or you have Eddy Aikau or, on the shirt. So I think that you've really impacted the business sector with being able to have this type of quality shirt that doesn't feel so, like you said, conservative.
Yeah. Well, only reason was because of the owner had a vision, right? He understood. Tim McCullough was a real cool guy. He's into, he's a surfing photographer and everything. So what I did was I brought more like a California lifestyle into local Hawaiian shirts, right? Because it was very limited. It was only like a very focused on the Hawaii business, community and stuff. So I just started doing all these things. And then we started doing a lot of licensing thing. And then we were the first one to start car shirts. We make shirts, go to General Motors and get a license. Then we make shirts with all different Camaros or Corvette, or, they go to Dodge and they make like Challengers and all this stuff. It was huge, was a huge business. But we are one of the first ones to actually do that. But clothing business is a knockoff business. Once somebody sees what we're doing, right, they'll just change them a little bit and then they sell them for a lot cheap. So we got out because that's how this business is. It's just a total knockoff business.
So, I mean, you're still doing drops with Reyn Spooner.
Yeah.
And is it like limited one-time drops when it's sold out, it's sold out?
Yeah. Well, this is just like, I'm just doing it from outside. I'm not part of the operation or anything, Okay. And I just came up with so many design and, they're marketing those and, Okay, so I want to move on to the Merrie Monarch, one of the most prestigious events based here in Hawaii, based on the Hawaiian culture. I have this poster here. Let's see. I want to share this, and can you explain to me? This is from 2023. Yeah, like this was a very important year, 60th anniversary, right? So, I talked to Luana, the director of the, she's a good friend of mine. And he said, we got to honor King David Kalakaua. And we study. And he was a mason or something, right?
Yeah,
and then he was a very advanced in technology. So he brought all the electricity there, the running toilet and everything in Iolani Palace. So, okay, maybe we'll make Iolani Palace with the lights on, right? And then have the his face, it's almost like the dream kind of thing. And all the men dancer is saluting to him, like have story behind.
Yes. I noticed that a lot of your artist renderings have a spiritual element to it. I see inside of the moon. Can you explain to me what you painted?
I just throw stuff like that in, because this is one of the real famous old drawing of this position of the hula dancer that been around for a long time. So I just stick that in just to
Yeah, no. So you I also have one at my restaurant of Queen Liliuokalani, and that's a very, very heavy painting with. You got night marchers.
Yeah.
You have the guys in the canoe, and I just there's something interesting about that. You're a man of Japanese descent that relocated to Hawaii quite a while ago. So you've been immersed in the culture. You've been surrounded by the culture. What draws you to doing these depictions of the Hawaiian culture?
Well, you know what it is that I used to really like surrealistic art. Like the artists like a Salvador Dali, or, I grew up in the 60s, right? Okay. So the psychedelic music, and they start making all this kind of, and my imagination, I always wanted to do something that when people look at it, you don't have to explain. Yeah. They know exactly what it is. So when I make Eddy Aikau poster, there's his face and Waimea Bay with a lifeguard stand, right? So everybody knows, he was a lifeguard. And trying to tell the story, that's kind of like my whole thing about everything that I do. Even like the shirts, right? All these different spots of the North Shore, big wave, but when the actual surfer look at it, everything's very authentic. Like, that's a pipeline, or that's a Waimea Bay, or, to me, things like that is a very important to authenticity of the each elements,
Because if you're drawing a pipeline or backdoor wave, it's different from Waimea, right? Different from Keiki. Yeah. So that's awesome. I also want to bust this one out because this is something you gifted to me. And this is a wonderful, wonderful painting that everyone that comes to my house that sees it always has. It's one of the first things that draws their attention. Wow. Can you explain to me what this is?
Well, this is the Miss Aloha Hula. I think this was a couple of years ago. I made this poster. What I wanted to do was I wanted to have the girl in the middle, but the surrounding fern just disappear into the darkness. So the girl would really stand out, And the Merrie Monarch always furnished me with an actual photograph from the year before. This is the winner of that year's. I don't know her name.
I think it's 23. We'll get her name for the camera. Yeah. But the depth in this takes technique that somebody like me looking at, I'm like, how did you
see? Like I got everything figured out systematically because I do this so many of them, right? Like designing the Aloha shirts. Say, for instance, see this fern gets darker and darker and darker, right? So I make 4 different shades of green from light to dark, and I just use that. So the one in the farther away is darkest one, and then gets lighter, lighter, lighter. So create dimension,
I mean, it does make sense when you explain that concept, but I guess it's just years and years, and also vision, right? You have the vision. So when you're thinking of something or a concept like this, do you know in your mind ahead of time already, like, this is what I'm going to do?
See, a lot of time, like, I premeditate, right? So, because my stuff has to sell, like a shirts or whatever, right? So the first thing I think is, if I make something like this, or everybody's going to buy that, right?
Yeah.
Say, for instance, I collect electric guitar. In the late 1980s and 90s, I lived in Los Angeles. Vintage guitar, electric guitar was like a big fat, like a Stratocaster, Les Paul, and all that stuff. So I go to all this guitar store, right? And then I look, I wish I could afford one of those. But then I realized every guitar store I go to, all the guitars are hanging like this, right? So, let's make a shirt that look just like that. So I made the guitar shirts called Walls of Sound. That was the name the owner, Reyn Spooner, came up with. So what it is just like the guitar hanging, all these different guitar hanging on the shirts, And, turned out it sold very well.
Wow. As a high-level artist, what inspires you? Are there times where you're not motivated to draw? Do you draw for fun or paint for fun, or is it all commission and work now?
It's all work. Doesn't matter. I have to do it. Every time I drag my feet and I get really lazy, right? So then I have to force myself and I have to meet the deadline. And then once I start, it's very simple, It's not that difficult.
It's second nature already.
Yeah, I mean, I've done my whole life. That's all I've done, So, like anything, right?
Yes. You also did Roy Yamaguchi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that.
Oh, no
You
problem.
are the man, bro. And I'm sure, I mean, he told me, man, this looks better than I do.
See, that's my thing. I always trying to make the person younger because I take out the wrinkles and stuff like that, so they like it, right?
That was huge, man. I think it was for our 30th anniversary or something like that.
Yeah,
but anyway, that was a wonderful thing that you did for us. Okay, I do want to get into Eddy Aikau because all of this, your artistic journey led you to a point where now you're educating the youth, not just on technique and painting and artistic skills. It's about the history of a very special figure in Hawaii, Eddy Aikau. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, I met Clyde Aikau in 2017 and through my attorney, because, my intellectual property attorney was representing them also.
Okay.
So, and at that time, they just lost the sponsorship with the Quicksilver, right? So they're trying to scramble in, so I came up with a graphic of Eddy Aikau, which is the first poster that I ever made. Yeah, this is the one, yeah. And so what I did was I gave them the rights for them to make merchandise and sell them to raise funds so they can, continue with this event. So then, and then what happened was that I didn't really know much about Eddy Aikau's life, and there's an essay contest. So they invite me to essay contest, and I beginning to learn about his life story. And then I read a book, and I said, oh my God, this guy, everything he did, he tried hard and practice and, unconditional giving, quit school for family and saved 500 life and never lost one life. Like, I'm going like, oh my God, this is a great thing to teach kids, right? Because it's universal. There's no politics or nothing, right? Somebody from the humble beginning didn't even go to high school, could save 500 people's life, So I came up with 10 different graphic, and each one depict a value, right?
Okay.
Like say, the Kuleana,
Okay.
right? Responsibility, he's saving life. So there's a picture of him running towards the beach and somebody's drowning. It's very simple drawing.
Okay.
And what I do is I teach, third grade, fourth grade, that level, to color those drawing, right? In the meantime, they'll learn in the classroom about the value. So they say, oh, this is Kuleana, but at the same time, they have something tangible that they can keep, right? So they're always going to remember, because you have a 10 drawing, then they learn all this value. They have that right in front of you. And then actually they did it, so the kids are really proud,
So it's a program that you've created based upon the life and character of Eddy Aikau. And you're taking this to schools, presenting it to them so the kids can learn not just drawing techniques, but about who Eddy Aikau was and the impact that he had on his community.
That's right.
They're learning Hawaiian history.
Yeah.
Wow. The fact that Eddy Aikau saved 500 people with not one life lost.
Yeah.
He was a protector and defender of life.
Yeah.
With the highest respect from his community. And he was also a family man that took care of his family when money, there were money struggles, correct? Left school at 16 to get into the workforce. Everything he made went back to the family.
Yeah.
A great example of a human being, not just a man, but a man as well, but a human being. And then he also studied on the Hokulea, right? Which is probably the most famous vessel in our history, right? Navigated around, it's still to this day navigating around the world. What does it mean to you to be able to enrich the lives of the local kids of Hawaii?
Well, especially like you go to a place like Waianae, right? It's a kind of like a struggling community, a lot of kids with the single parents. And, Eddy Aikau came from the very similar kind of situation, right? Had to even quit school to support the family. And he didn't even finish high school. But look what he did. So I think it sets a really good example that, anybody from any place can be as great as, you can be, So that's one of the reasons. And in today's world, I think kids really need to focus and start learning about this kind of thing,
Absolutely. And, to give struggling kids or even kids that aren't struggling the type of hope that you can pull from a story like Eddy Aikau's. But what it's also doing is showing them identity. This is the people I come from.
That's right.
And when you don't understand the somebody like Eddy, I come from this type of Aloha spirit. When you don't understand that, you have a hard time figuring it out. There's a struggle figuring it out, and then maybe a little bit of confusion. So you're helping the community and the community of Hawaii in so many different ways, and the children are our future. So I respect you so much for that, and the footage that you provided us as well will give people a visual as to what that is as well.
And it's very simple, I got everything. So my dream is to put this to every school, and it's really simple. It's just a simple 10 lessons, right? And it's got everything, all worked out. So anybody can teach this at the elementary school level.
And this is also, now that I think about it, thinking larger, this is also a blueprint for other noble figures in our history.
Exactly. See, so I get together with Henry Capono. He's a good friend of mine. He get an idea. Maybe I can come up with a story about Gabi Pahanui or, like a musician or somebody significant and make this short little story based on the true story about their life. How because it's not a fiction. This is the reality of it, and people did this. So it's it's a huge possibility. Eddy Aikau is just one example.
Absolutely, and also I do want to say rest in love to Clyde. Uncle Clyde passed away fairly recently, and he was a big part of the Aikau family and the Aikau Foundation. So rest in love, brother. Yes, sir. Wow, thank you so much. So I'm going to actually hand the mic on over to Kenji. He's going to talk to you a little bit, ask you some questions. Thank you for clarifying that project.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate,
Eddy Y. I feel like I should call you Uncle Eddy.
No, I don't like people call me uncle because it makes me feel old.
Hey, just out of respect, I was like, hey. No, but a lot of things that Taisei covered, I feel you did a good job in that video that you shared with us that we'll be sharing as well. I look forward to the growth of that project here in Hawaii. The main thing I have is, you said you came when you were 14?
Yeah.
So Tokyo up until you're 14, and then you came...
Well, what happened was that when I was 10 years old, my auntie, my father's sister, Japanese, married American Japanese, from California, and then they moved to Hawaii. And so they invited me to come to Hawaii by myself at the age of 10. So they put me on an airplane by myself, and I came to Hawaii, and I stayed here for about 3 months, and I just didn't want to go home.
Wait, you're 10 years old on the plane by yourself?
Yeah, they just put me on the Japan airline, and then my auntie and them waiting at the airport, and they just, so it wasn't that big deal. But I came here, and this place is so beautiful compared to Tokyo,
From Tokyo to Oahu,
Honolulu. Yeah, because this was this was 1962. And Japan was still kind of recovering from the war and, wasn't a, wealthy country, right? So I come to, wow, everybody drive these big cars and, wow,
Tell me because you look at this personality, and his work, it shows to all the work that we've shown and probably future work as well. But you're just shining and beaming with Aloha. And I'm wondering, you know how close Japan and Hawaii are, right?
Yeah.
The people. Us too are.
Right.
From, my mom's mom,
Yeah.
We have Japanese names, and I lived there for a long time as well. But there's such a good connection. And I wonder, you know, like, because you're offering a different, I was born 85, you know, you're offering a different perspective from a time before I was born. What was the Japanese, from the Japanese POV, Hawaii, what was it like in, let's say, 60s, 70s, 80s? What was the aloha like?
Well, like Hawaii was like a you know, not too many people get to even come to Hawaii then, you know. Hawaii was like a very special. You only see them in a movie or something. So like I felt like, wow, you know. Then I saw the difference, how great this country is, right? So I was told, say, I want to move here. I said, like, forget Japan, you know. You got to go to school 6 days a week. Over here, I only have to go to school 5 days a week. With a couple of folders. In Japan, you have to carry all these books.
Yeah. What about the food, though? The transition?
Food was, you know, actually the food in Japan is really good, but it was fine, you know. It was like hamburgers and stuff. I never used to eating that kind
Fried
of stuff.
Food.
Yeah, the French fries.
Sodas, all that milk. You never had like problems with dairy?
No. But at that time, Hawaii in '60s, Hawaii was great place. Wasn't crowded, you know.
Where were you? Like Palolo Vat? Like
No, I lived in Manoa.
Manoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was like a peaceful, great place, you know.
Oh.
And when I started going to high school, my uncle used to drop me off by the Pensacola, and I used to walk all the way down to King Street to go to McKinley High School. And, you know, as you walk down, all the people you see every day, we all know their faces, and, you know, we don't know their name, but they would kind of recognize each other. I was just like that in a real small community, like safe, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody was wearing muumuu and aloha shirts.
So, as someone who has designed a lot of aloha shirts, what we would call aloha shirts or Hawaiian shirts, and you're deep in the apparel game, like, is that, you know, we hear a lot, kimonos led to aloha shirts.
Yeah.
There's credence to that?
Yeah, like a lot of the influence came from Japan. All the textile, everything was done in Japan.
So it was the people who moved here from Japan with those
textiles. You know, like somebody came up with the idea, right? Bright color shirts, but they were originally using the Japanese textile. And, you know, that they go to Japan and print all this, you know. So I guess a lot of Japanese people are involved in early days.
Especially
like, you know, cotton sew, you know, make their own shirts in the small stores and stuff like that.
So who do you, when you're, let's say, I don't know, in the 1980s or so, when you're getting into the business of art, who did you have to look up to as far as, like, let's say someone who came to America, specifically Hawaii, or maybe you're in California at this time, but who were the sort of role models that you had?
I don't know. I never really had any of those, you know.
So you're just
what I want was, like, I always love America, you know, the cars or culture and everything, right? So I just wanted to simulate to be like an American, you know. So I end up, majority of my work is like I portray surfing and custom cultures and cars and, you know, that type of a thing, you know. And I just love, I really don't have any connection to Japan as far as the art goes. You know.
What about the spirit?
I don't know, maybe. No. The serious, you got to work hard. That's what the Japanese. That's the thing that I learned. So I work all the time. I mean, you know, I think, was a very, you know, good thing. I was always on time.
You know, when I'm listening to you talk about the compositions, because I don't know, I was into acrylics and spray painting. Actually, spray painting was my gateway into art. So big scale walls, aerosol. But then I went to canvases and acrylic, not too much oil. Sometimes charcoal too was kind of fun. But when I think of composition, and like I see your pieces, and to hear you explain it earlier made sense to me. It's like you're trying to tell a story. So if it's going to be about Eddy, you're going to see Waimeabe. You're going to see a lifeguard stand. These things are elements. But when it comes to the composition of foreground, background, maybe balance, are you thinking in terms of, like, or what's your process? Are you thinking, like, geometry, like
it's like something that I'm kind of already know, balance of, where to put what so it doesn't look awkward and, like the space between the different objects and stuff like that. I'm somewhat trained to do that kind of stuff. So it's very easy. Like, I put this over here, move a little bit to this side.
So what's your, like, I don't know if it's even a thing, but like a strikeout rate? Like, let's say you get halfway through and you're like, oh, this is trash. This is off balance.
Hardly ever. It's just always like one time. Because it's my job, right? So I don't want to waste my time.
No wasted canvases.
No waste time.
Do you have like a sketch though? Like a napkin sketch, kind of like?
No, like I just think, I go straight to the canvas. So, like I think about idea in my mind, right?
Yeah.
And then I just start.
Straight to the brush?
Yeah, straight.
No pencil?
No, I draw it outline and stuff like that, And then I rely a lot on the photograph to be realistic,
So you are referencing
Yeah, reference, and so.
But there's no photo of Queen Lili Okalani's face in a cloud, but you see it and
but
you put it together.
But the feature on the face, right?
Yeah.
So then I just make them into.
Do you feel like you kind of? Because the reason I'm asking this question is because there's a lot of you're dealing with a lot of people, places that have a deep history already. They have a lot of weight. Queens, kings, royalty. There's already a very well-developed story and idea of these people that then you go and not just illustrate, you're telling a story as well. But like, do you ever feel you're kind of channeling or transmitting some other thing? So you're just sort of like a medium in it? There's a bigger story and you just, this piece?
I don't know. I don't know. I just do it. It's just very easy for me to do. I mean, I had to say this, but you might not believe me, but everything that I do is just really easy. The next thing you know, it's finished.
Because you put in the hours and days and weeks and years already. So it's easy.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Okay. Well, I guess.
No, you know what I do? I thank God first before I start. Then everything is easy.
And then just flow. So wait, give me an idea. Like the Eddy poster, the first one that Ty showed. How long did that take you?
I don't know, a couple of days.
Couple sittings.
Yeah, a couple of days. I don't know. Okay. But, sometimes might take me a week. Maybe I do a little bit here, a little bit there, and then I look at it, and then think about, maybe I should put this over here. Or sometime I might have to change a little bit, but.
When you said that you make things that will sell.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing for an artist who wants to live off of art.
Yeah.
Not necessarily I am interested or I am passionate.
But see, let me give you an example.
Okay.
This is like, like that when you cannot learn art. Okay. So I go to university, right?
Yeah.
So the professor is telling all the students, the fine art could only be understood by intellect. And I look at them. Hey, I want to make something that everybody would like, right? I mean, just like the music, anything. If people doesn't like your stuff, then what's the point?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like,
Do you have to like it for other people to like it?
Well, other people has to like it before I like it.
Okay.
But I like it too, though.
Yeah. Right on. Well, you do a lot of work very close to home for us. Taisei and I are both from Westside, Hawaii. So everything that you stand for in this program, especially, I look forward to that. Is there one more thing before I leave. You're such a good purveyor of Hawaii stories.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any Japanese ones?
No, not at all.
Nothing.
Because like, I almost feel that I left Japan so long ago.
Yeah.
But I have I'm very Japanese in a lot of ways. But as far as making images and stuff, everything I do is very American kind of,
Really?
Yeah.
Does that cause discomfort?
No.
You just...
No. I just consider as an American, really. I was born in Japan, and I'm glad that I have the Japanese heritage and, like philosophy and all this stuff, how I was brought up. But I consider more of an American, that...
Well, most of your time is also here.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Eddy Y, I'd like you to one more time let everybody know where they can find you or participate. in these projects that you're talking about.
Well, I mean, talking about the Eddy Aikau thing.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Actually, tell us about this year, since we are in the holding period right now. What's your involvement in the Eddy Aikau tournament?
Well, I always design, like I've been designing posters and trophies. But I guess the Rip Curl came in and they're sponsors, so they kind of handling all the posters and stuff like that. But I still design trophy for them and, and whatever I can do to go to school and, teach about Eddy Aikau's life and, that kind of more,
Can you tell us about this year's trophy?
What is that?
This year's trophy?
Well, you see it pretty soon. I'll bring it so you can just show it on your podcast the next time. How's that? As soon as it's done.
I mean, that's like the biggest, one of the most prestigious tournaments.
Like the last one, there's 6 million people saw it or something, Yeah. I mean, it's not even a comparison. It's like a holy grail of surfing.
And to be the one to design the trophy, the symbol of the victory, if you will, if there is a victory. I think the victory is for everybody involved who actually like pays that kind of respect to the people who call in sick to work and go and wait at 4 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a pillar of Hawaii, that event, this whole holding period.
Oh, it is.
It's one thing that is so cool to be close to someone who's so involved. So,
well, it's just an honor for me, because, I get to do this and, it's just totally, very...
You surf too?
No, I don't surf. I just draw surfers.
It wouldn't surprise me if you see you catching some barrels. I don't know.
No.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Eddy Y. We look forward to all your progress, especially with the school programs. And do you have socials? No, you don't even.
I'm like a retired person.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this interview. If anything in this video made you feel something, please share this video with someone you think would feel the same way. This channel is a product of two brothers born and raised in Hawaii, using our skills, our story, and our growing network to unleash our creativity. For us, being creative isn't optional. It's a duty. We've got some incredible interviews and creative projects coming up, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you so much for your support. It means the world to us. Hope to see you in the next one.